Welcome back to DeezyVision. Today we are going on a national parks adventure because the Bahamas National Trust is having its National Parks Day today, where they allow the public to come into the national parks around the entire Bahamas today for free to, just enjoy the beautiful sights of nature here in the Bahamas. And they're gonna have some activities and some other stuff going on. And so today we'll be checking out Bonefish Pond, where we're at right now, and then we're going to go over to the Primeval forest. So if you're ready for a nice nature adventure, as I would put it, come on, let's go. All right, we're inside now. We just walked into the entrance of the Bonefish Pond site. And speaking of the National Parks Day, this is something that they do the Saturday after every Earth Day. And so I guess this is their way of celebrating Earth Day and, just showing some appreciation for the value of Earth Day. And they're going to be doing some activities. I heard there's going to be like bush tea sampling. You can do some snorkeling, kayaking. And so, we're gonna see how much of that we can check out today. So let's get into it. Now, this is our first time actually coming out here to the Bonefish Pond property. So this is a first time experience for all of us. And if this is your first time visiting the channel, watching any of my videos, make sure you go ahead and subscribe, all right? Hit that subscribe button. All right, so you're looking at nature here in the Bahamas in its natural form. These parks are preserved and protected by the Bahamas National Trust. And so, you don't have to worry about people coming in the back here and littering and stuff like that. And they do their best to keep these parks as clean as possible and keep them in as much of their natural state as possible. So gonna try to get close to the pond area to show you a more closer look of that. Okay. Heading across the bridge, I saw the sign here of the feathered wrens, and I think these are the birds that you will actually encounter, as you're exploring the Bonefish Pond Park. And so I see you have a reddish egret, is that what you call it? White crowned pigeon, clapper raw, black-bellied plover, snowy egret. I know the sign has gotten some wear and tear from the sun, so I'm trying my best to see some of what they have written here. Tricolored heron, green heron, and so on and so forth. So, keep a lookout for your feathered friends here when you come to visit the Bonefish Pond Park, because these are the birds that you are most likely to run into or see while you're here. All right, we finally got close to some water. I see the steps going down here, so I think that this may be where they do the snorkeling and the kayaking. It's probably from this area right here, but I guess we'll find that out a little later. But I mean, with the weather being how it is, nice and sunny, it's very beautiful out here. And they said that once the tide comes up a little later on, they're going to start the snorkeling and kayaking adventures. But it is beautiful out here, a lot of mangrove trees and stuff like that. Even the rock structures are beautiful out here. Really enjoying this. Glad we came today. the area where you would come to sign up to do the snorkeling and I guess the kayaking also, under this nice gazebo here out of the sun. So this is where you'd come to sign up for the snorkeling, and this is at the end of that long bridge that we just walked across. So a little later on today there's going to be some snorkeling and kayaking going on. Now, of course, because this is Bonefish Pond, it only makes sense to get information on the bonefish itself. You know, bone fishing is a very popular fishing sport here in the Bahamas. And here you can get some information on the bonefish, its life cycle. It talks about how it's a recreational resource. An economically important species, because like I said, bone fishing is a very popular fishing sport here. So it only makes sense that you would get information on the bonefish here. So another interesting fact, this area that we're standing here now, we just came back across that bridge that leads to the snorkeling and kayaking area, and we noticed that this spot is dry, but there's a lot of wet spots around. And one of the guides just told us that, you know, when the tide does come in fully, it's going to like kind of immerse the majority of this area. It normally doesn't go that far, but sometimes it would. But this dry spot here, once you see the tide comes in, it's definitely going to be wet. The water's going to come all the way here. So we're going to try and walk across these rocks to see if we can get a view of the canal that's across the way. Alright, we just walked across the treacherous rock to get to the canal area, and as you can see, I'm taking some kayaks over to start the kayaking tours. Man, this place is beautiful. This place is awesome. Why am I just getting here today? Wow. And it is a breezy day, so I hope the audio in this video isn't too breezy. Okay, so they're getting ready to start the snorkeling. The kayaking on this side here. Unfortunately, we won't be able to do any of the kayaking or snorkeling because I won't be able to do it properly with the camera that I have with me today, neither the snorkeling. So we definitely are going to be coming back to do the kayaking at a later date, so stay tuned for that, all right? Alright, all done here at Bonefish Pond, heading over to the Primeval Forest. It was an excellent first visit, first time being here, and it's actually going to be my first time visiting the Primeval Forest also. So, you ever been to Primeval Forest?
No, that'll be
All
my
right,
first.
so here we go. All of us are going to the Primeval Forest now for the first time. So, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, we have arrived to the Primeval Forest. Here we go. Okay, so if you know anything about the Bahamas, you know that bush tea is a big thing here. And they have some bush tea samplings going on here at the Primeval Forest location here on National Parks Day. And let's see, this one here is empty. This one had the sweet margate and the braziletto. This one has fever grass and lemon leaf. I think that Mark Joe is trying that one, and I'm going to grab me a cup and I'm going to try me a little bit of it also. All right, so I'm going to give it a try. So here we go. And that's definitely fever grass. I like fever grass anyway. It's one of my favorite bush to drink, especially during the cold season. You know, when people are getting colds and flus and stuff like that. It tastes really good, especially when you sweeten it up properly, sweeten it up right. It's really good. All right, so they got this this piece here is like glass bottom, and you can like see like down into what looks like a cave. We pretty high up right here. Yeah, that thing there. I hate hikes, but you know, like
Crazy.
wow. The nature in the Bahamas is amazing. And I've been living here all my life, and I gotta admit that. Okay, so like I was saying, when we went to Bonefish Pond, this too would be my first time visiting this national park, Primeval Forest. I've never been here before, and so this will be my first time visiting here. So I'm looking forward to seeing everything that this park has to offer, and I hope you enjoy coming along with us. Wines is also here doing wine sampling, and as you saw back when we were at Bonefish Pond, Sands company was out there, and they were doing the free beer and Vitamalt and all that good stuff. And here they have wine, and you see they have the coconut water thing over there too.
Any of you, this is your first time in this national park?
Yeah.
All right, so we're going to get ready to start our tour, but first, just a little housekeeping. We're just going to wait a couple of seconds for a few other persons just to sign up, and then we are going to start moving on the tour, okay? There are two main things about this national park that you should know. One, the geology of this park. The rock that you are standing on right now is over 120,000 years old. This is Pleistocene rock that we're standing on. And you're going to see a lot of karst formations, that's caves and sinkholes and stuff like that, all throughout this park. The other interesting thing about this park is that it is an old growth forest. You're not going to find forests like this on New Providence in large areas anymore. In fact, most of this stuff is dying. And the Bahamian coppice on New Providence is pretty much an endangered ecosystem.
This snake's an animal?
Yeah, it's got the spiders.
Spiders?
No, no spiders.
Oh.
Look, I see a spider on them. But they're
Because of our island, our platform being limestone, it reacts with water, fresh water, rainwater. Rainwater is slightly acidic. It dissolves the limestone rock, helping to form these solution holes that you see here. So 120,000 years ago, where you are standing right now is a big lagoon. We would be swimming here right now, 120,000 years ago. Okay? As sea levels rise, sea levels fall. That had an effect on the growth of the limestone. That also had an effect on the karst formations that were developing here. And this is just one of them. This is about 10 to 15 feet deep. And as we go down the hill, you're going to see a whole lot more of these caves. All right? So, any questions before we continue? No questions? Everybody good? To smell.
Crabs is walking here.
They can. You're seeing some remains in there. All right, so what I want you to do, just take the leaf, just crush it up, and I want you to smell it.
You coming in here to get some crab eating.
Right?
Supposed to stay to the left.
Nice.
All right, so I'm crushing it. I just want you to take the leaf, crush it up, and I want you to smell it.
That's a very good smell.
I'm gonna give you.
All right, guys, just watch the poison. I think it's a little too late for me.
Try not to fall. All right, we get everybody to come onto the platform. Let's talk a little bit about this place. There you go. There you go. Notice here that you did not notice up there. Look good. Give you a couple of seconds.
Big hole.
You have a big hole. How many holes do you have? Do you see? You see multiple holes. Did you see multiple holes up there? No. All right. Where we're at right now is a nice, flat, level piece of ground where water had its opportunity, its time to start dissolving the limestone rock. This rock has been dissolving for over 100,000 years. Okay? And so what's also cool about this area here is that these areas are what you call banana holes. You have sinkholes, you have banana holes, you have blue holes, you have a whole bunch of holes that make up our landscape. Okay?
What is the difference between these holes?
So the banana holes are these giant areas here. Sinkhole is a vertical, almost round vertical shaft. These are larger open areas here, and then a blue hole is just an area that was a shaft that was filled with water over time. So sea level rise, the hole filled up with water, hence you got a blue hole. Okay? So as the water was moving in this area, it started to dissolve this limestone rock, and so you have these numerous karst formations throughout this national park. What's also interesting about this national park is each one of these caves have some level of connectivity to each other. The Primeval forest has more interconnected caves than any other place in the Bahamas that has been researched geologically. And there are over 100 karst formations in this national park. The environment in this area is also important. They are what you call microhabitats. If you go down here, you will notice that there's different plant communities in these caves. And that's because as you go further down, it gets cooler and it gets more moist. And so these plants are now being able to live in these areas where they would not be found in other more drier environments. So this is a very sensitive ecosystem, one that should be protected, and I'm glad that this area is protected.
And this, the Primeval forest is amazing. I'm loving this already, and the tour just started. This reminds me of taking a trek through an immersive land at a theme park. Like an animal kingdom. Wow. And these holes are huge.
Yeah, man. All y'all got 1,000 years ago, sea levels were 18 to 20 feet higher than it is today. Okay? So everybody talks about this whole climate change, global warming thing that's happening now and has everybody in a panic. The reality is the Bahamas has experienced at least 12 episodes of sea level rise and sea level fall. With sea level rise came the growth of our islands. Because as sea level rises, you have sediment deposition, which means sediment is now helping to form on the ground and helping to increase our island size. When sea level drops, you do not have that. So with sea level rise, our islands are indeed going to get bigger. Unfortunately, with sea level rise, the land that we have now is going to get smaller. And so guess what that means? I hope you all have friends and family who live up in the mountains of the United States, not just in Florida and the East Coast, because over time that's going to get flooded. So you're going to need some nice high areas, or if you're a family who live in the mountains of the Dominican Republic, Cuba, and them kind of places, those are the places you want to have to live in. Exuma, the Eleuthera is going to start to look like the Exuma Keys with sea level rise. Okay? So just goes to show you just what's going to be happening in the not too distant future, scientists estimate that within about 50 years, that sea levels are going to rise to about 3 feet higher than it is now.
Okay, so he showed us some leaves of two trees called the cinnamon and lancewood. And the lancewood was used as like a burning element. You could use it to make a torch so that you can walk through the forest and see. And then the leaf from the cinnamon tree, females can use it for any menstrual issues that they have. So this primeval forest is filled with some amazing things.
You are now in a cave. You're just in a cave with the ceiling that has collapsed. And this one is also going to collapse in the future too.
As long as it don't collapse today.
Then we'll talk a little bit about this area.
It's an interesting fact. It rained and this cave opened up and the roots from the tree found its way down.
It really does depend on the group. There's some
And it
groups
rooted
who'll be
itself,
like, wow, I want to see
and
everything.
now this is
Then
what
the
we
other ones
have.
be like, but I just want to go.
Wow.
Okay, I know many of you, when you see caves, you're usually thinking about these fully enclosed areas that you walk through. We do have several of those in the Bahamas, but this is one of those caves in which the roof collapsed. You can see by it on the edge on the ground here. You see some of the evidence of the collapsed roof. You see the rocks on the ground? Yeah, so that was the extension of, all of this was an extension of the roof. So when sea level rose, it hit the surface, the top surface of this roof, and then as sea level fell, the roof got thinner over time due to erosion, and then it eventually collapsed, having to expose the cave a lot more. That's why when you're when you're learning about, or when you're going to build your house, you should do some geological observations, should have some geotech work done, because they could drill a hole and they could tell you, but you got a big cave underneath your land. And the last thing you want to do is spend $100,000, $200,000, $500,000 on your house and then your house collapse, okay? All right, so what's also interesting about this area is that this is once a marine lagoon. And how do we know? If you look over there, right at the base of the rock there, you're going to see a conch shell embedded in the rock. Look good. Where's Wally? Can anybody see it?
I didn't see it too far.
It's jutting, going this way, going the next way. That's because of wave action in the lagoon. The gentle moving of the wave action etched itself in the limestone rock, forming what's called this herringbone cross bedding. There's also animals that you will still find today. These are sea anemone and Callianassa shrimp burrows, and they are still around, or species or relatives of them are still around today.
That's the conch shell they were referring to earlier.
All right, something to help you with constipation. Give me a couple minutes, let me think about that one. I want you to smell these leaves.
Weight loss too, and which one is weight loss? That's what we want.
Well, if you want to, weight loss, you want to drink citrus teas without lime in it.
This one, okay, first everybody. There's some kind of spice. This one's constipation?
This one is for when you have diarrhea.
Oh, this diarrhea.
So the plant that I'm sending all of you now is called white stopper.
White stopper.
And it's used to stop diarrhea.
Wow.
So because it's intertidal sediments, you are not necessarily going to see coral. You're going to see... Imagine having all your furniture made with this good stuff. All right. So in this amazing forest, what you're seeing right now is probably what Christopher Columbus saw when he came to the Bahamas. Large trees like this. I know some people don't really like talking about Christopher Columbus because all that kind of stuff, but I had to reference him. Large trees like these throughout the forest. So hundreds of years ago, the forest that we're walking in now would have been like this. All right. A lot of these trees have been harvested. We used to cut down this mahogany for lumber. We used to cut down pine trees. We used to cut down wild tamarind, brazilito, and a host of other species of trees for building and woodwork, etc., etc. This old growth forest is what you call a blackland coppice forest, and one of the reasons why it's still here is because of the high levels of karst formations in here. This would have made it very, very difficult for somebody who wanted to turn this particular spot into a development, because they'll have to go and fill in all these holes. That's a lot of money. Nah, we ain't about that life. And also inside these caves, we have found some artifacts that date back to a couple hundred years ago, hanging out in these caves and stuff like that. Is fungus an animal or a plant?
Fungus or mungus?
Plant.
Plant.
Fungus is an animal. Fungus is an animal.
Fungus.
And what you're seeing right now is just the fruiting bodies of the fungus. These fungus can have what's called mycelia spread out over hundreds of meters throughout this forest. And without the fungus, there is no Bahamian coppice. The fungus helps to break down cellulose and other things that the plants are not able to eat. And in fact, over 95% of plants on Earth have a relationship with fungus. Okay?
Fungus or mungus?
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, this here, do not touch this tree. Very poisonous.
So, on behalf of the Bahamas National Trust, I want to thank you all for coming out today to enjoy your national parks. And I also want to thank all of you for asking all of those amazing questions and experiencing Primeval Forest National Park. I encourage anybody who is not a member of the Bahamas National Trust to please become a member. By becoming a member, you help the Bahamas National Trust to do the amazing work that it's continuing to do, which is managing our national park system. I also encourage you to become stewards of the environment. I'm sure you learned a lot about the plants and animals here, and you can use that information to help teach other people about the importance of protecting our environment.
We stepped into this building. It looks as to be the gift store here at the Primeval Park. We have some shirts here on this side here. I guess these are some key holders. That's how it looks to me. Or some fishing, something to do with fishing, I don't know. Some hats. We get some tumblers. Looks like some homemade jam. Looks like to me. And then here's a cooler. You can get your Dasani canned water, Minute Maid drinks here. Nice wooden structure. Well, that does it for today's video. Thank you so much for joining us on this nature adventure, as I call it, here on National Parks Day. Got a shout out to Bahamas National Trust for putting this day on. And like I say, they do this the Saturday following Earth Day. So happy Earth Day to everybody that observed it. National Parks Day was amazing. I mean, this was so educational and fun. At the same time, I had an amazing time. Shout out to Bahamas National Trust. Shout out to Scott, who was the tour guide here at the Primeval Forest. It was just an amazing day. So, you know, if you have never visited Bonefish Pond, or you've never visited the Primeval Forest, make sure you come and visit these places. Listen, you're gonna have an amazing time. It's amazing. And I really enjoyed it. It was my first time, it was her first time, and it was definitely worth coming out now today for National Parks Day. The entry is free for both national parks. Unfortunately, the retreat that's on Village Road, they were unable to host anything there because there was a previous engagement that was booked there way in advance, so they couldn't do anything there. But definitely check out all of the national parks we have here in the Bahamas. You live on any of the family islands that there are parks, go and check them out. But definitely come out here, do the tour of Primeval, the Primeval Forest. Go and do the activities over there at the Bonefish Pond. Now, if you enjoyed today's video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, give it a big like, and like I said earlier in the video, if you haven't as yet, make sure that you subscribe to the channel. I have more amazing content featuring the Bahamas, Nassau, Bahamas, coming up for you very soon. And don't forget to check out all of the links I left in the description section for you. This video is probably going to be one of the longest ones I've done since starting this channel. But I appreciate you guys for coming out and sticking it out with us and having an amazing time with us today. So until next time, I'll see you in the next video.